I used to believe that love meant working as a team, even when life wasn't perfectly equal. When my husband Daniel and I got married, we agreed that he would focus on growing his career while I handled more of our home life. Later, when our son was born, I switched to part-time work so I could be there for him after school. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a decision we made together. At least, that's what I thought. As Daniel's salary grew, something inside him slowly changed. It didn't happen overnight. It started with little comments. I'm paying for this vacation. My paycheck covers this house. You wouldn't understand how stressful it is being responsible for everything. At first, I ignored them. I reminded myself that work pressure changes people. Then the comments became rules. If I wanted to replace our old washing machine, he wanted a presentation explaining why. If I bought new shoes, he asked if they were really necessary. Every purchase had to be approved. Every decision had to pass through him. Yet when he wanted a new golf membership or the newest phone, he never asked me. One evening, while we were eating dinner, I suggested repainting our living room. He laughed. I make the money, Emma. I think I should decide what happens in this house. The room went completely silent. Our son looked down at his plate. I smiled politely and changed the subject, but something inside me broke. Not because of the paint, because I realized I no longer felt like his wife. I felt like someone asking permission to exist. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed every conversation from the last few years. Every time he reminded me whose money paid for something. Every time he made me feel smaller. Every time I apologized for simply having an opinion. The next morning, I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. I barely recognized the woman staring back. Where had my confidence gone? Before marriage, I had worked in marketing. I loved solving problems. I loved creating ideas. I loved feeling capable. Somewhere along the way, I had traded confidence for comfort. And comfort had quietly become dependence. I didn't blame Daniel for all of it. I had allowed the pattern to continue because avoiding conflict felt easier than protecting my dignity. That realization hurt the most. Instead of confronting him, I made a quiet promise to myself. I would never again feel trapped because of money. I reopened my old laptop. I updated my URSUM. I enrolled in online certification courses after everyone went to bed. Some nights I studied until 1 a.m. No one noticed. Daniel assumed I was watching television. Weeks became months. I applied for remote marketing positions. Most companies rejected me. Some never replied. A few interviews ended with polite smiles and disappointing emails. I wanted to quit. Then one Tuesday afternoon, while folding laundry, my phone rang. A small digital marketing agency offered me a flexible remote position. The salary wasn't huge, but it was mine. I accepted immediately. I didn't tell Daniel that day. Not because I wanted a secret, because I wanted one thing in my life that belonged only to me until I was ready. Over the next year, I worked hard. Clients appreciated my ideas. I earned promotions. Then freelance opportunities started appearing. Every extra dollar went into a savings account with my name on it. Not to leave my marriage, to rebuild myself. Something unexpected happened. The more financially independent I became, the calmer I became. I stopped asking permission for small purchases. I simply informed him. I bought a bookshelf today. I signed Ethan up for art classes. I booked my dental appointment. Daniel noticed. You've changed. I smiled. I've remembered who I am. He didn't like that answer. One Saturday morning, he walked into my office while I was finishing a client meeting. After I hung up, he looked around. So this little hobby is taking up the whole weekend now? It's my job. He shrugged. My income still pays for the important things. For the first time in years, I didn't defend myself. I simply nodded. A few weeks later, an unexpected letter arrived. It wasn't addressed to Daniel. It was addressed to me. Inside was news that would completely change the balance of our marriage and force both of us to confront a truth neither of us had seen coming. I stared at the envelope for several minutes before opening it again to make sure I had read it correctly. Months earlier, I had applied for a leadership development program through my company. I almost forgot about it after hearing nothing for so long. Now the letter said I had been selected. The promotion came with a significant salary increase, performance bonuses, and the opportunity to lead a national team from home. I couldn't stop smiling. It wasn't just about the money. It was proof that I was still capable. That evening, I told Daniel, "I have some good news." He looked up from his phone. "My company promoted me." He nodded without much emotion. "That's nice." I waited. Nothing else came. No congratulations, no hug, no "I'm proud of you." Instead, he asked, "Will it interfere with dinner?" For a moment, the old version of me almost apologized. Instead, I calmly replied, "We'll adjust our routine together." He frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means we're both working full-time now. We'll share more of the responsibilities." He laughed as if I had made a joke. But I didn't laugh. Over the following weeks, I stopped carrying the entire household alone. We created a chore schedule. I hired a cleaning service twice a month using my own income. I encouraged our son to take on age-appropriate responsibilities. Our home became less about one person serving everyone else and more about teamwork. Daniel resisted at first. One evening, he finally said what had been bothering him. "You've become different," I answered gently. "I haven't become different. I've become balanced." There was a long silence. Then he asked a question I never expected. "Did I really make you feel that small?" I looked at him honestly. "You didn't make me. But your words helped me believe I was worth less because I earned less." His face softened. "I never meant that, I know. But intention doesn't erase impact. That conversation changed everything. Not instantly. Trust rarely changes overnight, but awareness can." Over the next several months, Daniel made real efforts. He stopped referring to money as his. He started saying ours. He thanked me for things he once took for granted. He even admitted that he had tied his identity so closely to being the provider that he forgot marriage wasn't supposed to have a scoreboard. One afternoon, while organizing old paperwork, I found my first sum from years ago. I smiled at the woman who had written it. She had dreams. She had confidence. She had ambition. For a long time, I thought I needed to become someone new. Instead, I simply found the woman I had always been. Looking back, the greatest gift wasn't the promotion or the larger paycheck. It was discovering that financial independence wasn't about proving my husband wrong. It was about proving to myself that my voice, my work, and my choices mattered. Money never determined my value. Neither did marriage. My dignity was never something another person could give me or take away. The strongest boundary I ever built wasn't around my bank account. It was around my self-respect. And once I protected that, everything else slowly fell into place. If this story touched you, please comment and subscribe. I have one question for you. Have you ever had to rebuild your confidence after someone made you doubt your worth? Let me know your answer below.